Hi, it's Tanya here from Find Your English Voice, and this week we're going to be talking about you've mapped your fear fingerprint. Now what? What next? So you know when you freeze, you know why. Today we're going to talk about what to actually do, starting with your awareness practice and how to prepare for the training work that we're going to do next month. That's what's coming up in March. Okay. So, first, here's what not to do. Don't judge yourself for having these triggers. Your nervous system learned this pattern to protect you, and judging yourself just adds shame on top of anxiety. And that really doesn't motivate you at all. It just makes things worse, which doesn't serve you or move you towards your goals. So don't avoid these trigger situations hoping that they'll get easier, because every time you avoid them, your brain confirms, yep, that was dangerous. So staying quiet kept us safe, and don't wait until you feel ready, because often readiness just doesn't come. And if it does, readiness will come from doing and not just from waiting. So, what you do this month, awareness practice, once more. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Many of you have lived with this pattern for years without seeing it clearly. You just knew I get nervous when I'm speaking English. And now you're learning to see the specifics. For example, I freeze when my manager asks me direct questions in front of the team. That specificity is the foundation that everything else is built upon. Here is what it looks like when you enter a trigger situation, say a meeting with senior leadership, and don't try to speak differently yet. You just observe. Say to yourself, there it is. There's my pattern. My heart's beating a bit faster. My mind is searching for words. This is probably authority anxiety showing up. You're not judging it, you're naming it like a scientist studying a phenomenon. In the moment, just notice later, and you can write it down if you want to. Why does awareness matter, you might think? How does it help just to notice? Here's why. Right now, your pattern is automatic. Manager asks a question, you freeze. It happens before you even realize it. When you practice the awareness, you start to see this coming. That moment of recognition creates a space between the trigger and your response. And in that space, eventually, you'll be able to choose differently. But first, you need to see it clearly. Think of it like this: awareness becomes the space between trigger and response. Your practice for this month: at the end of each day, ask yourself, did I notice a trigger today? If yes, which one? What did it feel like? What did you do? If no trigger happened, just note that and then move on. It's quite a simple habit, but it builds your awareness muscle, your awareness of awareness, if you will. You're training yourself to see the pattern as it happens, not just in retrospect. Another useful way to think about fear is while you're practicing your awareness, try this reframe. If you feel your heart racing and your chest tightening, instead of thinking, oh, I'm nervous, I'm going to mess this up, think, this isn't fear, this is my body preparing to perform. This is the difference between fear and excitement can feel like a very, very thin line, depending on the framing that you give it. And this shift from anxiety to activation is useful, and it can turn tension into momentum. And that's what we want, more momentum. So you're not trying to get rid of that feeling, you're trying to change what it means. And that's the important part. We're not expecting perfection overnight. Your triggers don't mean that your English is weak, that you are not good at this. They don't mean that something is wrong with you. All they mean is that your nervous system has learned a pattern. And what has been learned can be unlearned. You're not someone who can't speak confidently under pressure. You're someone who can't do it yet. And that word changes everything. Yet means this is your current pattern, not this is a permanent one. Yet means you're at the beginning of the process, not at the end of the road. Yet opens possibilities. Okay, so your superpower this month has been acknowledgement. We know that you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Most people spend years trying to push through the hesitation and freeze moments, ignore them, power past them. You're going to do something better. You're looking at it clearly. That clarity, that specific awareness of when and why your voice shuts down is where change begins. Not next month, right now. This is the work. This is it. And this is a practice that grows and develops along with you. So this past month has all been about mapping and observing. Next month, we're going to start the retraining work, exposure ladders, specific phrases for each fear pattern, practice exercises, and how to track your progress. All of that is built on what you're doing right now, getting into the habit of being aware of where you actually are, not where you want to be, wish you were, think you should be, where you really are. You can't retrain a pattern that you haven't clearly identified yet. So this is really important stage that we're at. Where will you choose to focus your attention this week? Okay, the complete fear fingerprint exercise with tracking templates and daily reflection prompts is in the Find Your English Voice workbook. Link is going to be in the description. And if you would like more personalized support, book a discovery call with me. Link also in the description. And I will leave you with this. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss what is coming up next. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.